Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi amma ba'du. So this class is a class on ilmul bayani. Not bayani, ilmul ma'ani. Ilmul ma'ani. Ilmul ma'ani is the science of semantics or the science of meanings. The science of semantics or the science of meaning. We're going to look at verse 41:53. That's where we're going to start, and we're studying from the treasure under the wall. We're on page 114. The treasure under the wall. So we're going to look at the verse. Let's take a look at the verse first. Let's see. Something I have here. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sanurihim ayatina. So I'm going to give the general translation. Let's make it big. The general translation here. Sanurihim. So this sanurihim. Soon, this is the future. Soon we will show them, cause them to see, ayatina, our signs. Fi in al-afaqi. This word is generally translated as the horizons. In the horizons. Wafi and fusihim, and in themselves, their own souls. So that's the first phrase. The second phrase, hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haqqu. We'll read that as the second. أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِ بِرَبِّكَ أَنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ شَهِيدٌ. That's the third phrase. We have three phrases here we're going to be looking at. So hatta yatabayyana, until it is clear for them that it is al-haq. This could be another phrase. We can do it that way. Hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haq. أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِ رَبِّكَ أَنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ شَهِيدٌ. And that's a phrase. No. I'm sorry. This to make that one phrase. Yes. Yes, that's the phrase. Okay. Those are your phrases. Soon we will show them our signs in the horizons and in themselves. حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق, until it is clear to them that it is the truth. Until it is clear that it is the truth to them. And وَلَمْ يَكْفِ, is it not enough? Because with your Lord, that He is over everything shahidun. He is over everything a witness. Now, this word al-afaki, looking at al-afaki, just to draw your attention to this first, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْأَفَاكِ. Ibn Arabi comments on this portion by saying, نُوَفِّقُهُمْ, we will enable them. It will agree with them. We will enable them. Enable, meaning in this idea of they will be successful. They will be successful. Nobody to look, you could say, to see, to reflect. In doing so, it's going to agree with their souls. Nuwefikum, we're going to cause it. Fi tasari fine. In our various dispositions, we could say, even go as far as to say, of contingent beings. Variations. Lil mumkinati, for the possibilities. We would say for all possibilities and their conditions. This is in the al-afaki. We're going to show them our signs. This is in the al-afaki, the horizons. But they're going to nuwafikuhum, we're going to, by showing them, enable them to reflect. Reflect on these signs in all of its various dispositions for possibilities and their conditions. Okay. Now, let's go to the treasure under the wall. This is going to be thought-provoking, very thought-provoking. This class and tomorrow's class, Al-Bayan. These are advanced classes. So this is the Imam, exactly like it is from the book, on page 114, and there's another portion that comes after this. After this paragraph, there's another paragraph. I'm giving you this paragraph now. I don't think I wrote both paragraphs. But you will see all of it if you read both paragraphs. Maybe tomorrow I will show both paragraphs. So we are not in this environment to become this environment. We're not in this environment to become this environment. Now, what's this environment? This environment is al-afaki. And we are not anfusihim. Al-afaki and ufusihim. All the possibilities and their conditions are in the environment. All the possibilities and conditions and their conditions for man's reflection upon himself is in the environment. Al-afaki is giving you perhaps the limit, the boundaries of the environment. The environment is a means for us finding ourselves and fusihim and our true nature and expressing it in language that will come to mind and leave a picture or an imprint, a concept. How are you going to leave a concept and you don't have a concept? How can you leave a concept of yourself and you don't have a concept of yourself? Then where are you going to get the concept from? And where are you going to get the language from to articulate the concept of yourself? So, the world is a reflector, not just water. The water is not the only thing that reflects. The world is a reflector. The whole world, with its boundaries being al-afaki, it reflects. The whole world is nothing but a reflector. It reflects what I am. It reflects my life. It reflects what I want to do with my life. It reflects the conclusion of my life. Because he put everything in a universal scheme. And these things evolved and evolved. And they weren't satisfied to be at rest until they connected with each other and they all could rest. Okay? It says Elak. So I took this verse to go along with this writing in the first part. So again, here's the verse. Let's look at today. Let's analyze this verse, the verse semantically speaking. Ilmul ma'ani. And I put it in a chart here. You have to be on mute. If you're not asking a question, you should be on mute. Everyone should be on mute. Okay. I put up a chart this time for you. Let's see how this works. I'll get the feedback from you on how it works. So the overall clause structuring as al-mabahithu at tarakibu, the discussions of overall composition. It's called mabahithu at tarakibi. Now I'm going to certain concepts of element irony, certain principles. I want you to learn. Go back over it and learn. The verse divides into this. The overall. We're looking at the overall clause or the overall phrases or the overall verse. The verse divides into سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق. This is the first two phrases. The first part consists of these first two phrases that we just went over. This here is divided into two. This one here, and then this is number two here. This is what he's given us. And the second part is أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِي بِرَبِّكَ أَنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ شَهِيدٌ. And this appealed to the sufficiency of divine witnessing. This one is a promised future showing of signs leading to recognition of truth. And the second is appealing to the sufficiency of divine witnessing. Now, this is the overall composition of the verse we're looking at. The first principle, a word you should know, el-istimraro. El-istimraro is continuity. El-istimraro, to repeat. Fi az-zamani. This word you know, zaman. You know zaman, az-zamani, in time. The continuity in time. Continuity in time. So, sa-nurihim, the first word, sa-nurihim, that we had. I'll keep going back to the verse so you will see. Sa-nurihim. We're speaking about sa-nurihim here. Sa-nurihim. Now, grammatically, we know that this sa is a particle that's attached to the present tense that gives you the future. It gives you the sense of the future. Sa. There's sa and you have salfa. When you're using sa, it's sooner than when you use salfa. Sa is in the future, and salfa is in the future, whereas salfa is more distant future than sa. So yeah, sa nurihim combines sa, this word here, it combines sa with an imperfect verb. Nurihim is in the present tense or imperfect, indicating ongoing, repeatedly renewed future disclosures. Renewed future disclosure of signs. Not a one-time event. This is indicated with sa when you're using sa with the present tense. It's ongoing repeatedly. I'm going to show something that I wrote. It comes to something else I wrote with the Qur'an. If I have time, I will show you. That's the idea. Now, let's go back. We're talking about the environment, and we're talking about the science in the environment, and we're talking about the various dispositions, these signs. Even the same sign depending on your capacity, will give different meanings, will open up different ideas and different meanings, the same sign. So he's saying here that it's ongoing, future. The same sign will still yield future disclosure. So even when you're reading Qur'an and reading creation, what you read today and what you were inspired by today, what's revealed to you today, inspired by your reading. You want to learn to read the Qur'an in the Arabic Quranic text for yourself. You have to read it for yourself for where you're at in your soul. And you're going to grow from that reading. It's not a static reading. What I read and get may not be the same as what you read and get. You have to read for yourself. When we come as a group, we may agree on a group reading for the group if we're going to move as a group. But just like the prayer, you have a group prayer, and then you have your individual prayer. There's a prayer in the group, and the Imam is the leader. As we pray for the whole group is praying. Then you have an individual prayer where you are praying yourself for where you're at. So the same with reading the Qur'an. Today we're reading the Qur'an as a group. We're studying as a group. But also learn to read it yourself for yourself. Practice reading for yourself. Not to don't make it so static, because the signs, even though it's the same sign, the same verse, there are future disclosures that can be renewed. Understand that. You don't read it in static, well, the Imam said, and that's it. No. There are repeatedly renewed future disclosure of signs, not a one-time event. Understand that. But when you want to move as a group, as a family, follow the leader. That's why the leader has to be the one who reads and understands the Quran the best. That should be the leader. Let the one with the good heart be the muezzin. Then we'll move better as the group. That's the sign that's in the prayer. When we come out into the society, the leader is male or female, depending on who has the knowledge. That's the sign. The thinker. The male is the thinker. So understand that when you're moving as a group, it may be the wife, it may be the husband, when making decisions, when moving the family as a group. الاستمرار في زمني. Again, continuity over time. Apply it to understanding. The imperfect, يتبين, understanding, clarity, يتبين. In حتى يتبين لهم. Looking at the next phrase. حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق. Now we're talking about the continuity over time. استمرار في زمن when it's applied to يتبين. يتبين. سنريهم when it's applied to سنريهم, there's a constant and ongoing unveiling. Here there's a constant and ongoing continuity in terms of understanding. It portrays clarification as a process that unfolds until their awareness reaches full recognition. There's a continuity of an unfolding, unveiling of the signs until it reaches full recognition, which is al-haq. Now, let's see. Where do I plug this in? Yes. If you notice, let's go back to the verse. In the verse we have Hatta yatabayyana. Hatta yatabayyana. It may come up later. I can show you now. So this is yatabayyana, and this one is sanurihi. They both are verbs. They're both verbs. This verse, we will show them. In this one, we will show them. And this one, hatta yatabayyana. Meaning that this does not happen because it's in the subjunctive. Hatta, that's why it ends in the fatha. It's yatabayyana, form 5. So that is the action occurs within and it's intensified. It gives you the idea that it's occurring over and over. This one is form 5, and it's continuing over and over with intensity. The action occurs from within. This one is causation. So but this does not happen. This churning in the soul for clarity does not happen until this happens. And Allah, through continuity of time, continuity we're saying, is going to continue until this happens. And this happens, this has a continuity with it. Until it becomes al-haq, full awareness. So this clarity continues to occur, but it only occurs, this only occurs as this occurs. This is subjunctive. This act is subjunctive to this act. The act of yatabayyana is subjunctive to the act of sanurihim. That's grammar. That's the first line of grammar that you all should know. Or I'm going back over with you. And then we have here, he's giving you how it functions. He's showing you the grammar. It's the grammar and how it functions. It's a little step above what we have already learned in grammar school. Now we're in literature school. The next one, we've had this quite often if you were listening in during Ramadan. Every day for 28 days during Ramadan. No, it's not this. This is Taqsim, division. I was thinking of something else. This is Taqsim. This is division. It's the pairing, you're pairing fi al-afaki with fi anfusihim. Divides the field of science into horizons. Horizons and cells. These are the signs. They're in the horizons and they're in your cells. They're in your environment. The horizons is your environment. All of it's part of your environment. And you have yourself. In what we're studying from the Imam, one is a reflection of the other. It gives a reflection. Presenting now the human being as surrounded, which is your environment, by proofs. An environment of proofs from outside and inside. These two. That's taksim. They're divided into two. At tarakiyu, gradation. At tarakiyu. The order from fi al-afaki, the vast observable cosmos, or we could even say just your total environment. To wafi anfusihim, the intimate inner self. It moves from broader, more obvious signs to subtler, more penetrating ones, heightening the argumentative force. You're going from obvious signs, which are the outer signs, to a more penetrating signs that's within yourself. Doing so and using this language he's given, it's heightening the argumentative force, making it stronger, the force stronger, the argument stronger. Heightening the presentation. Now we have at-tasabubi. At-tasabubu. This is what we were saying earlier. I was saying earlier. Hatta. In hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haqqu. This causation. Because if you look at hatta, you have hatta, fi, this is causation. It puts it in the subjunctive as a means of causation. This happens only because something else happens, something else causing it. And until it does not happen, until the other happens. It marks the showing of signs as the cause who's intended. The showing of signs, nurihim, as the cause. Assured effect is their clear recognition that it is the truth. The universal, al-haq, universal, the universal realities that we could say is found in all people. That's when it becomes the signs. The concept that we get from the environment, the concept that we get from the cosmos, these concepts are reflected within. When we come to realize the clarity of these concepts that are not only in the environment, but that are within yourselves, these comments, al-haq, when we reach the awareness of al-haq, these are universal concepts for all of mankind. They're not small, communal, small, parochial, small, tribal concepts. We're talking universal concepts for all of mankind. When we're talking about having a concept of ourselves, yes, there's a lot to be said on it. I heard a video of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Very powerful words. Because of slavery, now I'm paraphrasing, we, in quoting and paraphrasing, we do not have knowledge of ourselves. We do not have knowledge of ourselves as a human being. We don't have it. Therefore, we are really talking to a Caucasian man. We want to be you. And now I'm saying, I'm taking from that, since we don't have a concept, we're talking about a concept. When we look in the environment and we see this Caucasian man in the environment, and we want to have a concept for ourselves, he's saying that we want to be you. And what we're taking from you as a concept for ourselves may not be el-haq. If you understand what I'm saying. Don't think so racism and the white man's the devil. It's not el-haq. And that we're taking from you that we want to be, we love that. And we love you. And we hate what we see in ourselves as what has been defined as us. We hate us that, and we hate our own selves. We want to be like you, just the African American man. And we want to identify as you. We want you, the concept that you have of yourself, we want that to be the concept of us. That concept is not a universal concept that we're looking at. I hope you all follow me. But we love that. We love that concept that you have of yourself. We want that concept of ourself. Though it's not a universal concept. But we want it because we see you progressing and doing so much with it. Therefore, we love that concept. We want that for ourselves. Therefore, we love you. And we hate ourselves because we don't have that concept. What we have been given of ourselves, we hate. And therefore, we hate that concept. Therefore, we hate ourselves. Yes. He said, but the Muslim don't want to be you. The Muslim wants knowledge of himself so he can be himself. Now, this is what makes it powerful. It goes with what I'm talking about. He says, now, we don't want to be you. We don't want to be that concept that we have been seeing in you to define ourselves with that concept. The Muslim, we don't want to be you. We want to be our true self, El-Haq. He says, now, it's up to you if you want to be us. That's deep. If you want to be us, that's up to you. If you see this universal concept that we have gone in the Qur'an and go over and over repeatedly, istimrar, repeatedly, and come out with a universal concept for ourselves that can be applied to all of mankind, a universal concept of ourselves, then that's up to you if you want to be one of us. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that many people put down. If what we're seeing in another El-Haq, then we can take that concept and apply it to ourselves, and it'll work for us. But if it's superficial, false, and we take that, it won't work for us. And if something we have that's superficial, false, artificial, and someone takes it to define themselves, give themselves a concept, it won't work for them either. So how, for people who don't know themselves, they have no knowledge of self, then how are we to find the concept that we are to have of ourselves? By observing the environment, observing the signs, whether in scripture or in creation, because they're going to come to a universal agreement until hatta, observe until, repeatedly, until yatabayana lana, until it becomes clear for us. And nahu al-haq. Now, back to the chart. التعريف للاستغراق. Definiteness for total inclusion. Definite. So we know التعريف is استغراق. Total inclusion. So El-Haq here, this Aleph Lam is what makes it definite, the Aleph Lam. El-Haq with the definite article, the Aleph Lam. Signals exclusive. It signals exclusive. All encompassing truth. The truth. It's exclusive and it's all encompassing. So that what becomes clear, yatabayyana, is not partial correctness, but the realized total truth, universal, not partial correctness. This is El-Haq. That's where we start. That's what we're looking for. That's where we start. Not with something partial, a partial concept, not realizing. So we're always looking for Nurihim, we're always looking for El-Haq, what's universal. التعريف السببي No esababu. No etasabu. Etasabu. Esababu or etasabu. Tasabubi. Etasabubu. Tasabubu. Know that causative. That's in your grammar and that's here. Some of this you've had in the grammar, but these are ideas you should take a look at. El-intiqal. This is rhetorical transition. This may take time. Rhetorical transition. The move from Sanurihim Ayatina to Awalam Yakfi Birabbika. It shifts from here to here, it's going to take a shift. It shifts from argumentative evidence to a higher ontological proof. When we say Nurihim Ayatuna, this is argumentative evidence. We're going to show you. We're going to show them. And we're going to go from there to a higher ontological proof that this may be in the environment. We'll show you. But to shift from the environment to yourselves now, we're looking at yourself not in the physical environment, we're looking at yourself in a more ontological environment, and which brings to a higher ontological proof within the earth. I hope that makes sense to you. Ask questions, dot notes to ask questions later if you're not asking now. So that's the shift is taken. When we talk about now, is Allah not enough, sufficient? We move from one to the other. And, well, it's advanced. At-tawbihu al-istifhami. This is at-tawbihu, reproach, the reproach, and the interrogative reproach. Is asking a question and censoring at the same time. So the question, Awalam yakfi bi rabbika, is not seeking an answer. You're not asking a question for an answer. It's more rhetorical in nature. It's rhetorical. That's what we mean by not asking for an answer. And it's censoring. It's therefore censoring their failure to regard divine witnessing as sufficient. And this witnessing, divine witnessing, is being revealed to Muhammad the Prophet. And is being articulated in the language, in Quranic language. So we have the Qur'an, there are signs. We have the creation, there are signs. And then within ourselves, there are signs. They all come to a universal conceptual wholeness. Taqdeem, this is a term we had a lot during the month of Ramadan, at taqdeem. So that one you should know. Make a note. Given these, make a note. Taqdeem lit takhsis, for exclusivity. That means we're putting something before this taqdeem, meaning we're putting it first. We're making it a preference. We're prefacing this before something else. We're flipping it, really. We're flipping the speech. You'll find this a lot in the Qur'an, how the speech is flipped. And the meaning, but it doesn't, it's used for a reason, for exclusivity in meaning. But the Arabs, when they heard the Qur'an and how the words are flipped, the phrases and the words are flipped around like they are, they could still understand what was being said, though they hadn't used that kind of language before. You have to understand the Quranic language. Yes, the Arabic language, yes. But the words, when they come into the Quran, how they take a shift in meaning. Then how the words are flipped. They're not spoken in the common language, in the marketplace. Understand that, and I've heard people say this, the Quranic Arabic language meaning the pattern of speech that's given, was not the same pattern of speech that the Arabs were accustomed to in the marketplace. It's not the same speech. It's like listening to rappers. The language of the rappers that they put together, the wording, how they put their wording together, and the pattern of speech that they have is not the same meaning we give to these words, metaphorically speaking, or used in this figurative speech that they're using it in. It's new. It's not everyday speech. The poet, the wording of the poet, the arrangement of the wording of the poet is not the same as the common speech. It's not the speech that's used in the marketplace. The Quran is not the speech that was used in the marketplace. It brought to their attention reflection. They have to reflect on what's being said. It's not common everyday speech. And Allah put it this way. In this Quranic Arabic form we're identifying it as, in order that you reflect, you use your brain, you have to think. That's why you don't read the Quran fast. Those of you who continue to try to show that you have some sense of, proficiency in the language, or this other word you're using, so you try to read the Quran fast, to try to imitate that you're imitating, you're giving a false pretense that you are so well read with Quranic Arabic, not knowing you're violating the Quran itself. When you speed read it, you don't speed read the Quran. It has to be read slow, like breathing. You don't breathe fast. You take your time. You breathe in, you breathe out. When you read the Quran, take the time so there's room for reflection. Like you see me pausing a lot, because things come to the mind. Read it slow. At-taqdeem, lit-takhsis. The prepositional phrase, be kept. We're talking about taqdeem now. It appears before its clause أنه على كل شيء شهيد. بِرَبِّكَ comes first. Let's take a look. He says, أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِي. بِرَبِّكَ, this will be moved to here. أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِي أَنَّهُ. Is it not enough that he is? Then you say he is shahidun. أَوَلَمْ يَكْفِي. Is it not enough? أَنَّهُ shahidun, that he is a witness. Above everything, بِرَبِّكَ, that it is a witness. Above everything with your Lord. And the haq, this haq here, that it is a witness, right? It is the truth. That it is the universal truth. Then is it not enough that it is a witness, that he is a witness above everything, that it is a witness above everything with your Lord? That's how you read it. That it is a witness above everything with your Lord. But we put your Lord first. And then even in this here, we put ala kulli shay'in before shahid. These are all principles of taqdeem. This is what he's saying here. So it appears before this clause, foregrounding your Lord as the unique, sufficient basis of certainty by putting the Rabbika foregrounding before this. That's when this is exclusively. This witnessing is exclusively with your Lord. It is above everything. Umumu al-istiqraq. This is comprehensive universality. The universality, the generalization, universality of istiqraq, of comprehensiveness. Ala kulli shay'in shahid uses kulli shay'in to state that nothing escaped his witnessing, strengthening the implied rebuke in the interrogative. Nothing escapes. His witnessing is above everything. His witnessing. The witnessing of your guardian evolver. So he's kulli shay'in, this idea of kulli shay'in, the word for universal is from the same word kulli. Kulliya is universal. Everything, all things, each thing, any and all. This is called umumu al-istiqraq. And in the last part, at ta'zim, this you should know, you should learn. I'm giving you the ones you should learn. Look at ta'zim. Go over all of it between this week and the next. The pronoun na, this is magnification. This is important for us. We get questions about when Allah uses the pronoun we. the pronoun we. What's the function of this pronoun we? In ayatina, our signs. In our signs. Together with the future we. Sanurihim, we will show you. We forms a majestic we. This is a majestic we. It's not the plural we. It's not us, Allah, and us. It's not plural. It's the majestic we. Conveying divine power and control over the gradual unveiling of signs. When we use, if I can say, the first term, the first person we instead of the first person I, we gives more, it's more magnified to say we. If I come and I say we are going to stop now, it's not the plural we, I am going to stop, but I'm magnifying myself by saying we as though I'm more than just one individual. I'm saying as though I represent many. I am many, but really I'm one. It's the majestic we that is used in the Qur'an. That's what it is called. We get a lot of questions on this, and then we get twisted, and then we, next thing you know, we have false concepts and ideas we're getting from reading Qur'an. We're being misguided. El-udulu anil khitab, shifting away from direct address. Notice this. So the use of the third person, lahum, them, the third person, them, and him, to speak about the deniers. So the them is the deniers. In the argument, you're arguing with the deniers. Instead of directly addressing them, it doesn't say who they really are. So speaking to them in the third person reflects their remoteness and obstinacy in the discourse. Remoteness and obstinity in the discourse. So you're shifting away from the second person, khitab, to the third person. So you're not speaking to them directly. In the second person, if you would say kum instead of whom, then you're speaking to them directly. But you're shifting away from the language. It's shifting to the third person. Let's see if this is the one that's going to do more shifting. It was something else I was reading. This is not the one. Yes. But here it said Norihim you have to look at the verses as these verses connect. The verses before. The ones you are addressing. It shifts now. So it's going to reflect that it's going to give you more of remoteness than them being directly in front of you. So it's using that to reflect that in the verse. If we go before the verses to see what was said before, because the Qur'an is connecting all the way through. So this part you can look before to see who these deniers are, who they actually are. Here they're not being named, and they're not using the second person. He's not saying in the argument, we will show you. Not we will show you, we will show them. And it actually gives the deniers a chance of repentance by not being so direct with them, by being indirect with them. So in the discourse, this is what the language is doing. It's shifting. So it's not so direct. So that completes this part for today. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have Ilmul Bayan. So now I'm going to allow questions. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.